Hello, I'm Tony Robinson. Welcome to Wrestling with the Big One. During this week's final episode, we're going to be looking at a story that Jesus told during the week before he was executed.
You never told me this was the final episode. Hi.
Out, Blakey.
Hey?
You're dropped.
What?
For months,
What do you mean?
the religious top brass in Jerusalem had been receiving intelligence from their Secret Service agents about an unofficial freelance preacher in the north of the country called Jesus.
You can't just do that.
I can. They said that Jesus...
Look, hold on a minute.
No, you hold on a minute, Blakey. We had a deal, right? This is my show, and you wanted to be in it, and I said fine. You just clear away the junk in the lounge each week so that it looks like a proper TV studio, not a refugee.
Yeah, but my watch stopped.
And how many times have you done it, Blakey? How many?
Look, I'll do it,
How
Tom.
many times, Blakey? Look at this rubbish. Every week you come up with some pathetic excuse and say, sorry, I'll do it next week, and do you, pig's bottom? I feel used, Blakey, manipulated. You've had no intention of clearing away that garbage, and you know it. Sorry. Anyway, Jesus had been accusing the religious authorities in Jerusalem of being corrupt, two-faced, of only pretending to be religious, while deep inside they were devious and acting out of their own interests.
Excuse me.
But Jesus was very popular with the ordinary people. So the religious bosses decided that they would accuse him of being a heretic, a kind of second-rate religious teacher who always got everything wrong. That way, he would lose his popular support, and they would be able to have him arrested and possibly even killed before there was rioting in the streets.
But Jesus wasn't stupid. He could see what the Pharisees were planning, right? So when he finally got to Jerusalem, he let them have it straight to their faces when he told the story of the tenants.
Blakey.
Look, it's all right. I've done it. Go on, show him. See? No coffee cups, no football programmes, no trainers, no sweaty socks, no pizza boxes. Whoops, just the one. There you go, see? Tidy as a whistle. A deal's a deal, mate. I'm sorry about the watch. I'll fix it first thing Monday morning. Now, what were you saying about the tenants?
You know what you are, don't you?
Your best mate? See, what Jesus didn't do was go on the defensive, right? Shall we shoot off to Jerusalem now?
Yeah.
Mates?
Come on.
It's nice in here when it's tidy, isn't it?
Get out of here! Jesus came to Jerusalem to celebrate the big religious festival of the Passover. The place would have been full to overflowing at that time of year. There'd have been great crowds of tourists and pilgrims. There'd have been tens of thousands of animals waiting to be slaughtered for sacrifice. The air would have been filled with black, dense, choking smoke. There'd have been the terrible stink of burning meat. There'd have been hundreds of little shops and stalls and money-changing booths. The whole place would have been one vast religious Disneyland. The local religious people would have been coining it in. It would have driven Jesus mad with anger. Blakey? Blakey!
Hang on, I'm just sorting something out.
Because as far as Jesus was concerned, God had come to a special deal with the Israelites hundreds of years ago. Their special covenant. He'd look after them and make them a special people, and in return they'd worship him in the way that he wanted to be worshipped. Very quietly and simply and without any fuss at all.
So, look at this gear, look. Holy water from the River Jordan. I'll give that to my Auntie Edie. And I've got a crucifixion ashtray made in Taiwan.
But if you look at the Old Testament, you'll find that there's loads and loads of occasions where the Israelites and their religious leaders actually broke the covenant.
They just couldn't stop themselves, and Jesus reckoned they were about to break it once too often. He reckoned he was God's special messenger. And if these religious blokes killed him, then God would get really mad and totally destroy Jerusalem. And that's what he was prophesying in the parable of the tenants, right?
That's right. He said there was this landowner who planted a vineyard.
And everyone who listened to this story would have known that for centuries, if a religious geezer talked about a vineyard, he actually meant the land of Israel. So, there'd be no secret what Jesus was on about here. This is the future of his country he's talking about. So, this is me planting a vineyard, right? Plant, 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 plant.
And he grew a hedge round it.
Hedge, 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 hedge.
And he dug a wine press.
Dig, 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 dig.
And he built a great big tower.
Here's the tower, okay? Little door, little windows, a little bit of smoke coming out the top.
But he wasn't building all this stuff just for himself, because as soon as he'd finished it, he rented it out to some tenants.
So when Jesus says tenants, he actually means the Israelites, right?
Right, and then the landowner went off to another country.
So this is God lending Israel to the Jews and then saying, right, look after it.
So then come harvest time, the landowner sent his servants...
And who were these servants? The Old Testament prophets?
Correct. He sent them back to the tenants to collect the grapes.
And they grabbed the first servant and they beat him up.
Because this is Jesus saying that the Israelites always used to give the Old Testament prophets a hard time.
And they got hold of the second servant and they killed him. Get up. And they got these massive rocks. Get up. And they stoned him to death.
Yeah, all right. Pack it in, Blakey. Pack it in!
Sorry. You all right?
It's just a story, all right? So, then the landowner sent some more servants, a lot more than the first time, and the same thing happened again, until finally
This time they had knives and they had sticks and they beat them all to death.
All right,
They had
all right.
hobnail boots.
All right. Until finally the landowner sent his son because he thought they'd respect him.
Is that Jesus, is it?
Well, I reckon so. But the tenants thought to themselves, hey, this is the landowner's heir. If we kill him, he'll have no one to leave his property to and we'll get it. And so they killed him. And that's the end of the story. Except at the end of it, Jesus turned to the Pharisees and all the religious people who were listening to the story and said, right, when the landowner comes back, what should he do?
And they said, it's obvious. Hang the tenants and then let the vineyard out again to some people who'll behave themselves properly. They fell right into it, really, didn't they?
Too right, because Jesus said, well, that's a funny thing, because exactly the same thing's going to happen to you. The kingdom of God is going to be taken away from you, and it's going to be given to a bunch of people who deserve it. In other words, he was saying that Israel didn't belong to them, he just lent it to them. And if they didn't honour God's prophets, especially Jesus, then the whole place would be doomed.
And 40 years later, Jerusalem was completely destroyed.
Yep. The Romans marched in, slaughtered everyone in sight, and burned the whole place to the ground.
So Jesus was completely right.
Yeah.
Unless the prophecies about Jerusalem being smashed up weren't really said by him.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe they were added later, after the place had been destroyed, to give the whole Jesus story a bit of cred.
Ah, well, we'll never know that for sure, will we? Coming home, then?
No, thanks. I'm going out again in a minute. We've got sound check at 12:30.
Yeah, you're going to do that washing up first, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll do it when I get back.
Blakey, you
said
promised.
I'll do it.
A deal is a deal, mate.
Look at this lot. Three Kings camel train. Bless this house from Bethany.
And I know where this is going. That nice holy wall hanging. Oh, smart that is. And a pretty little cross. You can have that if you like. I'll see you later, yeah? Be good.
Welsher. He won't be back till 5 in the morning, I know him. A load of old rubbish, eh? Who's that in the manger? It's Bambi. 2,000 years they've been knocking these out and they're still coming. Blakey, you've come back, you little toe rag.
Forgot me mic stand. Feeling a little cross, are you?
Oh, ha-ha, funny man.
That was a caper, that old crucifixion, wasn't it? Ta-da.
Yeah, was a caper. Really amazing caper, actually. All those stories he told and then this. Maybe we'll tell you about it sometime. If he ever finishes the washing up. Anyway, thanks for watching. Got the 7 dwarves in there too, I think. Bit of a squash. It is extraordinary what they come up with nowadays.